This match is actually nearly a month old. I played this on the 2nd of May. It's now the 25th as I record this. I eventually did get an SU-100Y and I don't regret that decision at all. It's a lot of fun. Especially when you end up top tier like this. I decide to head into town first. It is big and unarmoured, but with a gun that size and as top tier, I'm hoping to be able to clear out town quite effectively. I'm also hoping to run into the enemy TOG, get myself a nice big chewy bunch of hit points there to shoot at. Sterling comes into town with me in his EZ8, while Vessler heads out to the field. This thing's actually pretty spry for something this size. It turns very well, especially compared to the SU-152 or the 704. It feels a lot faster in turning. It accelerates okay. It's not real fast, but it hits its top speed pretty quick. It is a huge target though, and it doesn't really have armor. And what armor it does have is basically flat to the enemy, so it doesn't count for much. 700 hit points, it's okay. Dessler gets an early kill in. Two of the enemy KVs, both actually, the 1S and the KV-1, have been spotted out in the field. I just snapshot that guy. I was going to break the lock and manually aim until I realised he stopped, at which point it was basically just click, he's dead. Now, I get shot into this guy and almost finish him off, leave him on 1 hit point. That comes back to bite me later. Just in a brief pause here before the Cromwell turns up around the corner. This thing is actually quite unusual in that its gold ammo has less pen, but higher alpha than its regular ammo. 510 versus 440 alpha loses about 25 pen. As top tier you can afford to shoot all gold, you'll pen everything anyway and you'll do a lot more damage. You can one-shot basically any tier 5 except the Chaffee. You can one-shot Chaffee on a high roll, but you can two-shot pretty much any tier 6. Tier 7s even full this thing pretty quick. It doesn't have preferential, but it can handle tier 8s quite nicely. It just can't take the hits. The Cromwell, for some strange reason, goes for the relatively harmless T40 instead of me. He is using the dirt gun, the 3.7-inch howitzer. That shot completely whiffs, unfortunately, but our TOG 2 has my back. Meanwhile, the enemy TOG 2 has my back, literally, and is firing gold at me for some strange reason. 17 pounder on the TOG will handle this thing quite comfortably from any angle, without gold. He gets picked apart. Unfortunately, Dessler was killed, but myself and Sterling are still up. Sterling's actually pretty much past the enemy base, or the enemy spawn as it were, and has found a T1 there to pick on. Managed to rescue our bads from the Hetzer, and then the TOG gets reeling. This is where I make my big mistake. With 3 kills already and just over 2k damage, so I drive into the middle of the field, park up on this road here and just shoot from the ridge line, which turns out to be a bad plan. I want the KV-1S dead because he's got the most dangerous gun on the field. You can see here I use auto aim to traverse onto the target and then usually break the lock and manual aim it. Unless like that, there's no chance of missing or bouncing. While I line up on the KV-1S, I figure, oh, I'll at least take him with me. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting that hardy hit, and I certainly wasn't expecting that miss. So that VK that I left on 1 hit point gets his revenge. The SU-100Y is quite fun to play. I'm really glad we got it. You don't see them very often at all, so pubbies seem not to know how to deal with them. They don't seem to realise how strong its gun is. They drive in front of them all the damn time. I don't know why they're so uncommon. It might just be that most people don't like playing TDs at that tier, or it might be that people don't realise how strong it is, or they might just be bad at playing it. I don't know, but it's a pretty cheap premium to pick up. I think I picked it up with some of the gold left over from my BTSV and Punter 2J. It's a lot of fun to play, especially in a platoon. Solo probably not so much, because it's difficult to carry higher tier games, but in a platoon it's a lot of fun to play, and if you get top tier or even tier 7 matches, it will quite comfortably handle just about anything that they can throw at you. One little point, just as the last thing in this game, I did actually record this earlier. Chronologically it comes before the Swamp Puppy Masterpiece Theatre game, but I had to re-record it because I noticed my voice was a bit too quiet. You couldn't even hear what I was saying half the time. Hopefully it's better this time. Unfortunately I have a very sensitive microphone. It picks up every single background noise. Fans on the other side of my room, doors closing on the other side of the house. It won't pick up my voice. But either way, it's a fun tank to play. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're, you know, if you can make TDs work, not just hiding in the bushes in the back, but if you can, you know, if you really can make them work aggressively as well, this is a really good aggressive TD. And it also goes well with heavies, because you can sort of tag team with a heavy and you put out damage while the heavy tanks the hits. It's a good thing to have. And yeah, I'd definitely recommend picking one up, or at least if you can't, you know, if you don't want to buy one, try it out on the test server sometime. I mean, that's what the test server's there for, testing new patches and testing out tanks you don't have yet, so give it a whirl, see how you like it.